Did you know you can support the Techology Show when you shop at Amazon.com? Become a friend of the show by starting your shopping at thetechologyshow.com/shop. It's Tuesday, November the 26th, 2013. Live from Rural Pickens, South Carolina. Almost Turkey Day. I'm Matthew Teege.
I'm Heath Mulliken.
And I'm Tony Casey. Welcome to the Techology Show, weekly podcast featuring technology, theology, and everything in between. This is episode 227.
And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to say that I am thankful, even more so today, for two thumbs that are working. TG.
Put your thumb up, Matthew,
I can only
so people
give
can
that
see
joke
it.
one thumb up, guys.
Yeah. So Matthew had a little mishap this week, and he's trying to run all the controls and type. He's got a splint on
Very
his
hard
thumb.
to turn these tiny little knobs over here on
It's
my left.
quite impressive. I'll be honest. I've been quite impressed. So,
Hey, listen, so something here real quick. Every so often I get a chance to watch the Today Show, and I don't know if they had the newest scam on right now.
Yeah.
When you buy a gift card,
yeah.
you have this code that you scratch off on the back.
Yeah.
What people are doing is they're going in the store, they're scratching the code off, and then they copy down the code, and then they keep checking the website, and hopefully whoever buys the card doesn't check, and as soon as they see that it's been charged with money, boom, they take it out. So when you're buying gift cards, and 80% of Americans will buy gift cards this year, when you buy a gift card, turn it around and make sure that that code has not been scratched
Whoa,
off.
wait a minute. Okay. You just confused me. So I go into the store, I scratch it off, write the code down. I take the card back in there.
No. You never even check it out. You go up to the rack, you scratch it off.
Scratch it
There
off,
you go.
take a picture of it. So how do I use it? Oh, I use
You
online.
wait.
I go to the website.
So
If I've done this with the Lowe's
Sorry,
card, I go to the Lowe's website.
Heath just realized how he's going to afford Christmas this year.
iPads for everybody.
All righty. Heath, let's talk about our Amazon affiliate.
Hey, we want to say thank you to everyone who has been using the link on our website to shop at Amazon. And we want to tell you a brand new, fresh, and easy way that you can help the Techology Show out. And that is, if you use Google Chrome as your browser, you can go to the Chrome store, and there is now the official Techology Show Chrome extension. There's the link on the show as you're watching this. You can go on there. It's called the Techology Show something.
It's the Amazon affiliate link. So what
Yeah.
it does, our friend Zach made it for us, and what it does is it auto tags anything you do on Amazon, even
Yes.
if you don't go through our website. So you can just go straight to Amazon.
yes.
Anything you purchase gets tagged with our affiliate link, and we get a little bit of funds from that, which is hugely helpful to us. And this is just a great thing that an awesome viewer
It
took
is.
the time
Yeah.
to put together for us. So
Big thanks to Zach.
thetechologyshow.com/Chrome is the easiest way to get there, or
Yeah.
use our short URL that you see there on the screen. It'll take you right there. Install that puppy, and that'll make our day.
And so one thing, Thanksgiving, you're going to be with family. You're going to be at your in-laws. You go on their computer. You download Google. you go on every computer. I was actually
I will be.
I was
will be
actually
doing that this weekend.
I was actually at the Apple store yesterday, and I thought, they probably use it. Oh, we're working on it. So, hey, and we've been doing this, and I love doing this. The Amazon purchase of the week through the Techology Show link. The Casino 6-deck automatic card shuffler. So, someone out there, remember, when you win in Vegas, you owe us, a cut of your winnings.
So we don't know who orders what,
No,
but we had
don't.
a good time in the studio just trying to guess who might have ordered that.
Yes. And considering that 95% of our viewers and listeners are Wesleyan, our minds have gone different places. So, hey, thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Thank you, and hey,
Yeah, we made 60 cents off that.
good luck.
Card shuffling
There you
issue.
go. Hey,
Counting cards is illegal, by the way.
If you're looking for an effective way to get word out about your organization, business, or nonprofit, why not consider sponsoring an episode of The Techology Show? When you sponsor the show, we'll feature your brand right on the front page of our site, as well as inside the episode that you've sponsored. This means that your investment literally lives on years after the week you sponsor. We think it's a great deal and would love to have you on board. For more details, you can go to thetechologyshow.com/sponsor. This week, our guest is Marie Cattle. Marie Cattle is from London, England. She's also a registered nurse working at the Wesleyan Hospital on the island of La Gonâve in Haiti. She's responsible for the coordination of medical and surgical teams coming to work at the hospital. She serves alongside her husband, Julian, who's an engineer. He also served as the supervising project manager for the new hospital in La Gonâve. Marie and Julian have two delightful daughters, Rebecca and Ella. Marie, welcome to the show. And when I say you have two delightful daughters, I had an opportunity to be with them this past summer, and they really are two delightful young ladies.
Thank you very much. I think it's much easier when you don't have to live with them.
That's always the case with our kids, right?
Yes.
All right. Hey, listen, let's jump into the interview here. For some of our listeners, they may not be familiar with the location, the history of the Wesleyan Hospital in La Gonâve, so let's just start there.
La Gonâve is a small island of about a population of about 120,000 people off the coast of Haiti. It's very rural. Most of the advancements that's happened in Haiti over the last few years have not quite made it to La Gonâve yet. There's been a Wesleyan presence on the island since the 40s, and the first part of the hospital was constructed in 1958. There was some damage done to the hospital during the earthquake, and it was decided that instead of repairing and improving the current hospital, but to help them build a new structure was the best way to move forward.
So tell us, we've had lots of connections to the Edmonds there being in Haiti, but tell us how you ended up working at the Wesleyan Hospital there on La Gonâve.
Well, there's not very many Wesleyans in the UK, so it's quite far away from us. I know you've had Aaron Dowds on the show talking about Akipe and the children's village out here. Well, his brother Justin Dowds is the primus motor for the construction of the hospital. He works with Compassion International and decided that in order to best help Compassion look after their children, they needed to improve the hospital. Julian's brother knows Justin. They've worked together on a Christian festival in the past. And one day over Sunday lunch with the family about 2.5 years ago, Julian's brother leans over the table and says, "You're going to Haiti." And Julian says, "That's great. When are we going? What are we doing?" Thinking they were going on a week's trip to deliver medicines or something along those lines. Well, it turned out it was a lot more encompassing than that. They needed a construction manager for the new hospital. They'd been through a couple of people through the States and that had dropped out for various different reasons. So they were now desperate, and Justin had emailed everybody in his inbox, including Julian's brother. We initially feel mad. We're not going to Haiti to build a hospital. What a bizarre idea that is. But the more we thought about it, and the more we talked about it, and talked with Justin, we decided that maybe this was actually a pretty neat thing to be doing. And we met Dan and Joy Irvine, who I think most of your listeners know too. Yeah. And the more we heard just made us think that this was a great place to be. And 6 months later, we were here.
Yeah. We like you said, we know the Irvines. We've had them on before, and then we've had Aaron Dowds on. Let's just say something here real quick for people who don't know the Dowd family. Just what great people they are. And we've only seen Aaron via Skype. You have talked with these people, rubbed shoulders with them. And I don't know what you could add to what I've just said, but just great people and seem to be able to move heaven and earth to get things done at times.
Yeah. I think the one of the things that Julian's brother said about Justin was that he's mad, but when he puts his mind to something, he gets it done. And I think it's true for the whole of the family.
Yeah.
I think they all have their strengths and weaknesses, but they just all believe in what they're doing, and I think it shines through the whole of their church setup up there in Dunfermline, Scotland.
Yeah. Now, so talk to us a little bit about your responsibilities there at the hospital. What do you do?
Well, I coordinate the incoming medical and surgical teams working at the hospital, mainly the ones who stay on the Wesleyan mission, but I will work with anybody who wants to work at the hospital. I do run a women's health clinic, but majority of my time is spent emailing backwards and forwards with the teams, making sure that the hospital staff know who's coming, when they're coming, that we have the correct patients for the doctors, so that we don't have ear, nose, and throat patients for the OBGYN and vice versa.
One of the things that Tony and Matthew have kind of shared with me is when they were down there, you were giving them a tour of the hospital, that they were surprised to find out that infection rates in Haiti are actually lower than in Europe and the U.S. That makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, why is that the case?
Well, I know it sounds really strange because we spend so much time and money in both the UK and the States trying to make everything pristine and germ-free. So coming down here and finding that the rate of post-operative infections is lower is surprising. I think the majority of the reason is because the Haitians are not bombarded with antibiotics from they are 2 months old, just like the rest of us are. Amoxicillin still works wonders for most generic infections. Also, the staff that we have at the hospital, they they wash and re-sterilize everything. We're lucky enough to have a supply of disposable and equipment coming on a steadily basis, but we never quite know when that's going to run out, and we never know where the next one's coming from. So being able to wash and re-sterilize all of our equipment and materials makes us able to reuse everything. And I think that it's a testament to their skill, both the ladies working in the sterilization department and the doctors and nurses working here at what they're so good at what they do.
Yeah. I think you and I had a conversation, Marie, when I was there, and I was surprised when you told us that. And then also, it kind of came on the heels of an article I read here in the States where we have hand sanitizer everywhere here in the States, and they're beginning to think that there's a negative backlash to that it's a bad idea. I don't know if you've read or heard anything about that.
Well, I haven't read the articles that you're referring to yourself, but I certainly know from my life back in the UK, there's clinical clean that you use in a clinical setting, that you would need to wash your hands and use hand sanitizer and sterilization techniques before touching patients and dealing with open wounds. But then there's the normal sanitization that we do in our everyday homes. And I think we do live in a world that's certainly in UK and the US that's proving to be almost sterile, which means that our systems are not able to cope with the microbes that live around us all the time.
Yeah.
And our children grow up sterile.
Yeah.
Right.
Talk to us now about the new hospital, some of the improvements, and then also more broadly what this means to the community there.
Well, the new wing of the hospital, which is on just across the road from the old hospital, will house the inpatients and the surgical department. The clinic is staying where it is, so the hospital will be on 2 sites.
Okay.
That in itself will give them more space. and we will be able to have more inpatients should we need to. We will have double the space of double the OR space, which means that we could run 2 surgeries at once. So at the moment, if we have a visiting surgeon working, and then there's an emergency C-section, which is the most common form operation happening outside of visiting teams, they sometimes have to try and do that wherever they can. We will have a setup which means that everything could be done much more efficiently and in an organized way.
Sure.
The local community will benefit just simply because the capacity of the hospital will be bigger, and hopefully within that we can liaise more with the hospitals on the mainland and make sure that we offer the best service that we can. The service at the Wesleyan Hospital Llagwynaf at the moment is restricted due to financial and the education of the nurses here, but the plan is for that to change drastically, because we will be able to provide so much more training as well as equipment.
Now, we know that you guys bring in surgical teams from around the world and medical teams, but does the hospital there on Llagwynaf have its own surgeon?
No, we don't have a surgeon on staff at the moment. It's one of the things that we are hoping to employ in the next couple of years. We do have Dr. Fadina is the medical director at the hospital. He's worked here for about 30 years, and he's an internist, and he's a fantastic doctor, and he has become very proficient at surgeries and performs most of the C-sections that happen at the hospital.
Marie, take a second to talk about kind of the context there in terms of if people didn't have that hospital on that island, what then would they have to do? What's the closest place they could go? And for people, again, for our listeners who just have no context, give them just kind of an idea of what would be involved in travel to get to the nearest hospital.
The nearest hospitals from the island is the ones in Port-au-Prince, and there are several. There's state hospitals and private hospitals. There's lots of different services available in Port-au-Prince, but in order to get there, you have to get down to Ansagalay, which is the town where the hospital is, and leave on the boat by about 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, most of the communities on Llagwynaf live 2 or 3, if not more, hours travel away from Ansagalay itself. So having to go to the hospital in Port-au-Prince would mean travel down to Ansagalay, staying overnight, getting on the boat to get across. Then there's a 2-hour travel from the boat dock into Port-au-Prince, finding the hospital or the appropriate medical practitioner that you need to see, waiting to be seen, finding somewhere to stay in Port-au-Prince because your blood tests or your treatment will not happen that day. It will happen the next day or maybe even the day after that, and then traveling back out again. In-country travel in Haiti is both very expensive and very lengthy. And so adding to the pressure of having a sick child in the family or needing to go and have a procedure done but wanting to go back home is the financial pressure of having to stay in port in order to be seen. Sorry, my daughters just came in.
The delightful daughters are home, aren't they? Hey, yeah, I love your explanation here. Someone asked me, I was telling them where our hospital was, the Wesleyan Hospital was, and I explained it, as this remote, how long it took us to get there. And their question to me, well, why would they put a hospital out there? And my response was precisely because it's out there, because where else can the people go other than, as you've explained beautifully. I think that especially for people who here in the States who just never get out, they have no point of reference. They just can't understand, the travel that's involved. And I think, Matthew, now when you first went, you actually took the Jesus boat over, didn't you?
Oh, that was a second trip.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, literally a sailboat, a little sailboat that is on the same construction level as what Jesus would have sailed Galilee. I mean, it really is. It's a little handcrafted wooden boat.
Yeah, yeah. And that trip for you, just to get from the mainland of Haiti out to
Haiti and meeting a bunch of Americans is
Yeah.
just as much of a difference than living where we were. It has been interesting for them to do a homeschooling curriculum through a missionary teacher. They're in a small class with just 4 people of different grades, and that's been very good for them to learn to accept other people. Even if we look the same doesn't mean we all are the same, and again, just because we look different doesn't mean we are different.
Yeah.
And learning to respect other people's strengths and weaknesses, and to learn to find them for yourself. They've missed home, they've missed family and friends. My elder daughter Rebecca is particularly missing her friendship group that she left behind, but she's 12, and I think it would have been difficult at any point.
Yeah. One of the things
But it's very interesting coming up to Christmas.
No, go ahead. Please, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that it's very interesting coming up to Christmas and grandparents start to ask, what would you like for Christmas? And they can't think of anything because their world does not revolve around television and advertising and the latest gizmo or particular flavor of jumper.
Fascinating.
Yeah. A lot of that is marketed. One of the things that was so impressive to me, it was a conversation I had with your husband, Julian, and I can't remember the full context, but at one point he talked about how when you came to Haiti, when your family got there, he said that we embrace this. This is our home, and that's just the way that we have approached this. And we want the girls to experience Haiti in all that it is, and to invest in relationships. And I just thought it was just a really good, healthy approach, that y'all have with the girls there, and understanding that there are things, and certainly family members, that are missed. Well, listen, I understand now. When I was there, you were planning a trip to the United States at some time. Is that still the plan?
Yes, at the moment, just in about a week's time, we're heading off to Orlando for a bit of family time. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Now
Yeah.
listen,
Talk about missing out.
Orlando is not going to give you a real good picture of the United. You need to come up here to Pickens, South Carolina. We'll take you cow tipping, and we'll do some good old Americana kind of things.
That sounds great. I'll prefer that to the glitz of Disney any day. Well, we are talking about we're leaving Haiti in March, and we are at the moment talking about taking a couple of weeks vacation somewhere in the States, and it may well be South Carolina.
Yeah, so you guys,
We've made some good friends
I was gonna say,
in South Carolina.
yeah, take a moment to
Some
talk.
people who've been here.
Yeah, take a moment to talk about the friends that you made. I mean, they lived right next door to you for a year.
They did, yes. The Marty and Larry Grimes. Hello there, if you're listening. They're fantastic people, and living in a small duplex apartment next to each other for a whole year just makes you really close. And it was like having a second set of grandparents. And it's amazing, rubbing shoulders every day, how your lives become intertwined. So. Yeah, coming up to visit Larry and Marty, and of course the Edmonds would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, and hopefully maybe when you're passing through here, they're both close to us, so maybe we can all get together for a meal or something. We'd love to see you all again.
That'd be great.
All right, Marie. Well, thank you so much for taking time out. So now, listen, for your family, you broke the ice.
Yeah.
You did this interview. You were great, and so now tell Julian I'm going to start hounding him because he has a whole different story, and he was the engineer of the hospital there, or the project manager, and there are some great stories to be told there. So we want to get him on next.
You might even be able to get him to tell the rat story too.
Yeah. Which would be awesome. You know that we'll ask him about the rat story if we can get him on. All right, listen, blessings on you, upon Julian and the girls. Please tell them that we said hello.
Will do. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So in the chat room, while we were wrapping up the interview, someone puts in here that Indiana Wesleyan is developing a program to send their nursing students. Indiana Wesleyan's got a great nursing program, sending their nursing students to Loganov for intercultural credit. How awesome would that be?
That would be great. That's
Yeah.
D going in the chat room.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going here. Time for...
Oh, gracious.
Time for-
Injured hand. It's too slow today, guys. Sorry. It's download of the week.
Download. There we are.
Download of the week.
Yay.
I don't think anyone's going to be surprised about the download
That's
of
right.
the week.
Yeah, let's talk about it again. So our thanks to Zach, one of our friends and listeners of the show. Yeah, Heath raises the
Yeah,
glass.
he keeps raising the mug over here. What-
He has built for us a Chrome extension. If you use, as you should,
Yes.
use Google Chrome as your web browser. Go to thetechnologyshow.com/Chrome or use the short link that you see on the screen right here. There's a little extension that'll get installed. I mean, it's tiny. It's not even a megabyte extension. The only thing it does is it tags your Amazon shopping with our affiliate link to where you don't even have to start at our show site. Just anytime you're in Amazon,
Yeah.
it helps us out. And so it is a quick and simple thing. I mean, it will take you no longer than 10 seconds
10
to
seconds.
install it. And what it does for us on the other end is hugely beneficial. So thanks to Zach.
Yeah.
But thank you to everybody who will
Yeah.
go and install this. And if you would, while you're there, rate the thing too.
Rate it.
That'll just
5
help it out.
stars.
Just give it it doesn't actually benefit anybody but us, so it won't be useful, but it just there's a way to thank Zach for what he's created for us.
And our listeners could take the philosophy that Heath and Matthew are, and that is not only are they going to put it on their Chrome browser, but they're going to find friends and family and
yeah.
put it on their Chrome,
yeah.
their Chrome browser as well. And seriously, I'll do that throughout the house. I mean, every computer, it'll just come up, and even the ones that aren't registered under mine, then I'll do that. There's a couple that aren't. So.
Yeah, I mean, anybody you can think of, if you can get them to install this, all it does is help us out. I should have looked at the numbers, but just in the past week, I think we've made a little over $10 on Amazon, and that'll help us when it comes time to do future purchasing, to do future buying. We've got that in the reserve. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now so I can give you a realistic
So
number.
Heath, I mean, here's an idea I had. We should the Wesleyan headquarters Chrome should become the official browser.
Yes.
And then the extension should be put on.
I believe we have enough. I believe we can make that happen.
I realistically, I agree too. I bet that we could. If there needs to be policy.
All
a
points,
policy.
memo, all staff. Hey, Wesleyan headquarters. I want to make sure I got this right. They were just named like the best Christian workplace.
Yeah, for 2014, and it's
By-
only 2013. So
Well, that's what I'm trying.
that email went out this morning. It was a congratulatory from our district superintendent towards the nomination, but I don't know.
That's an
I
email.
mean, it's one thing to name yourself that. It's a whole
No,
other-
Right.
No, it was the outside.
Yeah, so here you go. Here's the earnings report for the past 7 days. $15.50. I mean, that's just
Right.
fantastic. But to be able to
Yes.
get that help is going to help us out so much, because in about 6 months, we're going to be redoing a lot of stuff, and that's exactly where that money's going. It comes to us in an Amazon gift card. We don't make any money off of what we're doing. We just put it back into the show, and
That's right.
it just is a
Yeah.
huge bonus. So
It
And
doesn't
again-
say who gave them this award.
Yeah. Again, thanks to Zach Burnham for
Yes.
doing that for us,
Yeah.
and just other tech tips as well. All right, let's go to They Said It.
Read my lips.
I'm going to say this again.
I've never taken steroids or HGH.
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
The Macintosh, of all the machines I've ever seen, is the only one that meets that standard.
I'm not a crook.
if you know what you're doing here. Slide out.
Starting this week, the trade-in value for iPhones will no longer be impacted by the phone's liquid damage indicator, according to Apple retail employees. Mike Beasley reporting on the policy change at Apple. Source, 9to5Mac.
Even among more casual users, porn is wreaking havoc in the bedroom. Last year, American GQ's sex columnist Sobian Rosen complained about the, quote, pornified sex men seem to expect, not even in a relationship when trust has been established, but from the very first encounter. Nisha Luladu, in her article, Don John, How Porn is Rewiring Our Brains. Source, The Telegraph.
We received a letter saying we had to cease and desist immediately, or they would take legal action against us. Renee Matthews, the principal of East Point Academy in West Columbia, South Carolina, referring to a letter he received from the American Humanist Association. Source, Fox News.
Devastating. A war zone. I walked through one of the hardest hit areas of 4 streets of homes, and they're gone. I couldn't tell what street I was on. Washington, Illinois Mayor Gary Maynor tearfully talking about the recent tornado that ripped through his town. Source, The Huffington Post. So the very first story, from 9to5Mac, this is actually a couple weeks old now.
Yeah.
So this policy changed 2 weeks ago. I'm not quite sure. It's not a really long article,
Right.
but inside your iPhone, there's your iDevices.
You can look on the bottom of it.
There's these little stickers.
Yeah.
They detect water. If you've dropped your phone in the toilet, you can ask my
turns
wife about
pink,
that.
I think.
It does.
Yeah.
You can ask her all about it.
So Ashley,
But
sit
all
down
this-
and talk to me.
This isn't a. I dropped it in the toilet. Will you guys replace it for me? It's not
Right.
that. It's in if upgrading it back your device.
Right.
It's no longer under consideration. I don't think this is. I'm just going to be honest here. I don't think this is a hugely impactful story for a whole lot of people because it's.
Because, I mean, you're not going to, we're not saying, they're not saying they're going to give you full price. They're just saying they're going to give you some price, and that's the change.
Yeah, you're never going to get full price.
Right.
You'll never, if you have particularly an old iPhone, it's you're an idiot if you take it back to Apple as a trade-in. Instead, call your carrier, get it carrier unlocked, and sell it. You'll make probably double the money that Apple would give you if you went to them. So yeah, don't.
That's even true for, there's companies out there like, and I think, I'm not dogging the company, but you take a company like Gazelle. And so I was interested. I thought, well, what would an iPad 3rd generation go for? Well, Gazelle, like today, you could lock in for about $320. So that's what they would give you for it. And they're good in that if it's even better than what you describe it, they would up that price.
Right.
But if you were selling that same iPad, they would give you $220. If you were selling that same iPad on eBay, you'd get anywhere from $300 to $360 for it.
Right.
So, I mean, you're never going to, if you sell that directly, you're always going to do better than going through someone else.
So the benefit is it takes the hassle away.
Yes.
The hassle's not there any longer. So that's the pro. The con is you're not going to make as much money.
Yep. And it can be a hassle sometimes.
Yes.
All right. Our next article from the Telegraph. We just keep running into these articles.
Yes.
And I got to think, people are going to think, wow, Tony brings these stories in, and we just have this, hey, could you get the phone there, people are going to think, wow, what is this? Tony's a sex-crazed animal here.
I've thought that before.
Yeah.
Must have something to do with us doing the show out of your bedroom.
Yeah,
I mean,
it must be. And so, I actually got introspective about the way.
Yeah.
One of the sources that Nisha does point to is Deutsch. We've talked about the research of Deutsch. He talks about the plasticity of the brain and his concerns about this.
And this article came from based on the movie that I don't think it's out anymore, Don John, starring Scarlett Johansson and Gordon
Joseph Gordon.
Sorry, I always do that. I apologize. And this movie is based on this guy who gets no satisfaction in his actual relationships because he is so addicted to pornography that's where his and the movie's about. We haven't seen the movie, disclaimer there, but sometimes Hollywood does things and And this movie has kind of stirred up this pot, because since that movie came out, like you said, it's no coincidence that we've seen story upon story upon story of this. And as most of you know, with my wife, she's facing a neurological disease. We're doing a lot of research on neuroplasticity, and it is just become a fascinating topic to me. And just the fact that everything we do, every thought that we have, everything that we dwell on does something to our brains.
Yeah.
And that for every thought or action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so you've got,
Well, I think, too, in evangelicalism, so let me beat, this is just a little drum I want to beat. In the evangelical movement, we have prized special revelation.
yes.
As well we should, because how do we know about God's salvation for us? Well, we know it through special revelation. We know it through the Word. But in doing that, we have marginalized general revelation, as if God doesn't speak through general revelation.
Right.
And what science is general revelation.
Yeah.
It's still the voice of God. All truth is God's truth.
Yeah.
And it's when we have these studies and the church has access to them, let's use that voice. Let's tap that research.
Oh, yeah. The days of the church, the church and science, that's a partnership that we should not be afraid of, especially when it comes to matters like this, because this is too often science and the church have disagreed on things. This is something we agree on.
Absolutely.
Hey, porn is bad for you, period.
I would say this, that the research is the voice of God. It is truth.
Yeah.
And that's my point. It's general revelation.
Yeah.
All right. This story here coming out of Columbia, South Carolina. So a lawsuit has been threatened, and so they stopped the whole program. This school is a charter school, and they had an annual toy drive every year. And the organization they did it under, I'm sitting here looking at the article.
It was Operation Christmas Child.
Okay.
And a lot of churches use Operation Christmas Child.
Yeah,
and the main objection from the Humanist Association, they were interviewed on Megyn Kelly's show on Fox News the other night. Their main source of contention was that in each of these boxes there is, it's kind of the message of salvation.
Yeah.
And they had a problem with that. And I loved Megyn Kelly's response. She says, okay, you've stopped all these kids from getting gifts. And she asked the guy, the humanist, he said, what's your organization going to do? You've stopped these kids from getting these gifts. Is your organization going to provide gifts? He's like, well, she's like, no, you have literally stopped this number of children from getting any sort of Christmas present. And it was just,
interesting. Now, so I'm always, there are some people out there going to holler, give us Barabbas after I say this, but how, as believers, would we react if this was a Muslim group and they were putting passages of the Quran in, and the school, the public school, was funding that they were behind it? And so I think here again, when you're in the public school, the whole lay of the land there,
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a delicate situation.
If I was Operation Christmas Child, I think what I would try, I would, can you have two programs?
Right.
Can you have one program that the church is pumping it, and we do it at our local church, and the scripture is included?
Yes.
And the other one where it's not?
Yeah.
Because I too hate that. What's going to replace this for those kids?
Right. Absolutely. And that, I think that's my primary beef is they didn't just say, hey,
they had no solution.
It takes you 2 seconds to just remove. It's a little card in there. Can you just take those out? Yeah. Will Operation Christmas Child, will they let you do that? Okay, fine. Okay, then just do that. There's your solution. They said, no, stop. You can't, can't. I've often wondered.
I think it's sad. Don't get me wrong. I think it's sad.
I got to be very careful. So when are we going to get to the point where we don't get Christmas break at school anymore?
Well, listen, as long as there's Black Friday, there'll always be Christmas break.
Well, Black Friday.
No, I'm
is
just saying that it's so
Thanksgiving.
commercialized that it's. Come on. Listen, all three of us have preached the message where we lament that Christmas is not Christmas in the way that we understand it. We all have preached about the commercialization and how this is what people get wrapped up in. And we just had this in Marie's conversation with her daughters, and they, family are asking them what they want, and
It's a fascinating case study right there.
It
I
is.
absolutely love that. That is so.
They're not
interesting.
being bombarded. As far as they know, they don't want anything.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, they probably, the last story about these tornadoes that went through. We have you read the quote from a mayor in Illinois. A lot of Wesleyans affected in Marion, Indiana. Lots of people without power. My friend Matt Rhodes is a youth pastor up there. Was actually walking with one of his students that literally lost everything. They found one of his shoes in his old bedroom, and they found his other shoe in the middle of a field. And
well, this town of Washington, Illinois. Oh my word! It just looked like a giant bulldozer came through. There is nothing there.
Yeah.
I apologize. I meant to do this last week, and I just never did. I'm sure that if you want to give in terms of relief, that you can go to the Red Cross and track that down. We oftentimes we cover these stories just because we want to remember the human factor. And while there are times we're laughing and life is good for us, in other places of the world it's tragedy and heartbreak, and there are people literally who are wondering how they're going to rebuild their lives.
Right.
Our thoughts and our prayers certainly go out to them. We're going to finish up a little bit early, so let me take a little bit of time here. I think it was Joel Higginbotham who kind of reminded us about the book A Sticky Faith. Really, it was Matthew Deprez who first introduced that to us, and so we reminded you, our listeners and viewers, about that book last week, and it specifically tries to get to this thing. We often look at the negative side of young people leaving the church. Sticky faith is, well, what about those who stay? And how can we get kids and teenagers to stay in the church? What are some of the best practices? Mm-hmm. And the author of that book is Kara, last name, Kara Powell. And we just got confirmation today. She's willing to come on the show. We need to hammer that date out. But thank Matthew Deprez and Joel Higginbotham for just reminding us. And so we'll have her on. Next week, we're going to have my brother, Tim Casey, on.
Little nepotism.
Yep. That's wonderful. What? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'll be playing the part of Tiny Tim.
At the end of the show, your new sign-off isn't
God bless us, everyone.
It's no longer adios. No.
God bless us.
For about 5 years now, I've read Christmas Carol before Christmas, and I said something to my brother, only to find out he's been doing it for like 20 years.
Yeah. He's always trying to one-up you.
Yeah, and it's always been that way. But he's gonna come on next week, and we were talking a little bit this past week, just going through that interview, and just some of these Christian themes that that Charles Dickens used. But he, as far as we know, he's not a believer. He doesn't make that claim, and yet he gets after the church in that, that story. And so we'll talk about that. And then Matthew, I know you're excited about the December 10th interview.
Yeah, I think you are too, actually.
Well, I am.
Yeah,
yes.
Company called SkyDog. They have made a consumer router. They've been more of a business class stuff for internet technologies. Well, they've made a consumer router that they are trying to get out to families that just makes managing a network easy.
Yeah.
It makes it something that you can do right from a phone. It makes it to where you can be sure that your children in your home are protected and what they might run into online. It also lets you do time. You do time with that. It lets you,
Restrict people's time.
Exactly. Yeah, to give an allowance to say, hey, every day your device, whatever it is,
Right.
you've got an hour and a half to use the internet or whatever it may be. It's just a fantastic thing that they've done, and something that I think we all recognize as something valuable.
Yes.
Oh, my word.
To
Yes.
homes, to families. So
Oh, my word,
definitely stay tuned for December
Yeah, I
10th.
wonder if you would have time, as Heath and I kind of wrap things up about what's
Yeah.
coming up in the future. Would you have time to pull that video or find it?
Yeah, let me see
and
if
then
I
we
can find it,
close
yeah.
out we'll just close out with their advertisement.
Sure.
If you have kids, we get this question all the time.
Yeah.
Like, well, how can I,
Yeah.
you
How
know,
can I
I want my
protect my
kids on
kids?
the internet, but how can I manage that? And we've never had a good, clean answer to how to do that. I think this is the answer, and I think it's worth the money. And if once you watch the promo here, I think that you'll see why. Heath, let's zoom like way into the future here. Like you just confirmed someone for February 25th.
Jason Butler is the pastor of Transformation City in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's a Wesleyan church plant up there. He just authored a book called Dangerous Presence about being in kind of that inner city culture and being the body of Christ. And so we're excited to have Jason on. And
this is going to be good because we have all watched the trend in evangelicalism. And the trend is this, that we're moving out into the suburbs. We're leaving the churches that we established in towns, and we just kind of leave the inner city to itself. And so in some part, he's going to be dealing with this. Also, in reading Mark Batterson's book, All In, I came across this name, Heather Zempel, and Mark talks about this is the person who is in charge of their small groups, and what a wonderful job that she does. So when we had Mark on the show a few weeks ago, in our post-show, we were just talking, and I said, hey, what's the chances of Heather coming on the show? And he said, listen, she would do great. We'll make it happen. We have her down for February the 11th. And then a book that Matthew put me on to, Adopted for Life, 2 years ago. The author is Russell Moore, and Matthew just said, man, it'd be great if we could get Russell Moore on the show. And so it started, almost 2 years ago now. I made my first contact, and he never turned me down, but it was like, well, it's busy. Check with me again at this time of the year. Check with me again. This happened again and again. And finally, it's worked out. And so really excited about having Russell Moore, author of Adopted for Life, on February the 4th. You found it?
Only you're hearing that. Nobody else is. So
no one
don't
else
worry
is
about it.
good.
Yes.
You want me to turn this down?
No,
here?
you're good. Yeah, you're good.
This is a book that deals not just with physical adoption. It does. And so, we want as many people watching this episode as possible.
Yeah.
But it also ties that in with this fact that we are spiritually adopted. We've been adopted into the family of God, and that metaphor ought to drive the church in terms of physical adoption and how we need to be a redemptive presence to families around the world. And Russell Moore is going to talk to us about that. Alrighty, February. Let me jump up to December now. December 17th, we'll round out 2013 with Michael Cusick. He's the author of Surfing for God. Very good book. He tells his own personal story, but he also comes at this in terms of counseling, and he's dealing with addictions to pornography, sexual addiction leading to frequenting prostitutes, and people whose lives have been destroyed. And his is a personal story of that. And he's going to talk about that and talk about how he can minister redemptively to people. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And if someone is looking to sponsor something worthwhile, I just highlight that episode. Would love to have a sponsor for that episode. All right. Heath, where might our listeners find you?
They can go to heathmullican.com, and there they can find my Facebook and Twitter link and connect with me.
All right, Matthew, when you're not sharpening knives, where can people find you?
You can find me leaving a 5-star review for our Google Chrome extension at Techology/Chrome.
All right, I'm at AKC64 at Facebook and Twitter. We want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for your support of the show and all that you do. If you want to do further research on anything we discussed today, you can find all the links to the stories we covered at our website, thetechnologyshow.com. If you want to contact us via email, send your emails to thetechnologyshow@gmail.com, or better yet, you can leave us a voicemail by calling us at 3049 Theology. Leave a message. We may even play your comments on the air. And going to ask you now to stay tuned as we show you the promo for the SkyDog router.
Yeah, here we go. I actually got 2 things to show us. Let's see
all right.
what we got. Here we go. Number 1.
Meet Mike and his wife Kim and their 3 kids. In the last few years, the number of devices in their home connected to the internet has exploded. It started with a simple PC and turned into multiple laptops, game systems, mobile phones, tablets, and more than they could handle. Mike and Kim struggled with questions that all parents face. How do we control all of these devices? How do we keep the internet safe for the kids? And how do we keep them from all of the distractions online? The task seemed impossible. They could not find any single product to help with all of these problems that was both simple and economical. Then, one day, they discovered SkyDog. SkyDog can help you see who is doing what on your home network by user or by device. SkyDog lets you customize what your kids can access on an individual weekly schedule. You can see what is happening on your home network from anywhere, including your phone or tablet. You can prioritize traffic for different users or devices. SkyDog automatically can block malware and dangerous sites so you don't have to worry. And SkyDog has a simple, easy user interface unlike anything you've seen on a router before. SkyDog allows you to fully customize how your home network is used by each person. You can assign internet access priority and speed, schedule when each user can access what type of content, and monitor all internet access history. For example, you can block social networking sites during homework time. SkyDog can also block individual users at any time and completely shut off internet access on a preset schedule, such as late at night. Set it up once and let SkyDog do the rest. SkyDog works at the network level, so it doesn't matter which type of device you use or what operating system it runs. SkyDog controls the traffic of Macs, PCs, iOS, Android, tablets, smartphones, game consoles, TVs, media boxes, and much, much more. Under the hood, SkyDog is a powerful network router that uses enterprise technology married with an intuitive web-based user interface to bring into your home all the services that you need at an affordable price. SkyDog enables you to regain control of your home network and your family's internet experience. Now that Mike and Kim have SkyDog watching over their internet, they can rest easy knowing that their home network is under control, optimized, and well protected by SkyDog. Take advantage of our limited time offer. Make a purchase by Thanksgiving Day and you will get the SkyDog router plus the SkyDog web app, as well as 3 years of cloud service included for free. You will also get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee.
I'm Jeff, and this is SkyDog, a home networking solution for families. SkyDog has 2 parts, a wireless router and a mobile companion, and together they give you instant visibility into the internet use in your home and allow you to take control of your home network, whether you're at home or out and about. SkyDog redefines the home network, providing the power to see and improve your family's internet connectivity. And it's easy. To start, simply sign up with SkyDog. Then replace your existing router with this powerful SkyDog router. SkyDog instantly provides information about all the connected devices in your home. Now you can see who's on your home network and the signal quality of every Wi-Fi device in use. SkyDog can send you text alerts for events you care about. You can also personalize the performance, security, and internet access limits for each user. Basically, SkyDog helps you deal with your home network in a new and better way, even as your family's internet needs change. You can be away from home and get a text when your child has an unexpected friend over who signs on to the guest network. You can create a watch list of websites for SkyDog to keep track of across all of your kids' devices, and have SkyDog send an alert to them as they approach their agreed-upon limits for things like gaming or social media. And if need be, SkyDog can cut them off. SkyDog includes clever algorithms to provide broad and fast Wi-Fi coverage in your house and to optimize streaming media. But if the video streamed to your smart TV or streaming player does stutter, SkyDog can help fix the issue immediately. In fact, with SkyDog's multi-zone technology, you can easily tune, schedule, and protect your network for daytime work, evening entertainment, gaming, or firewalled guest access. SkyDog can also help you manage all the home networks in your life, like a rental property or your parents' house. Sounds great, right? Well, that's only the beginning. We're creating online communities where SkyDog users can share ideas about new features, network troubleshooting, and managing their family's connected lifestyles. Home automation devices will use SkyDog to become even smarter. At PowerCloud, we've spent years delivering software to make it easy for businesses to manage their professional networks. But we realized there was nothing comparable to address the needs of families to manage their home networks. So we set out to create SkyDog as a mobile companion to keep watch over your network, alert you to problems, sniff out their causes, and protect your family, even when you're not at home. We're incredibly excited about SkyDog. Most important, you'll be part of the SkyDog revolution, helping us to define the future of home networking. We hope you'll join us. Thanks.